We live in a culture that is so obsessed with food and body image that most of us have learned to ignore our own hunger cues. We have been taught that control is strength, that shrinking is success, that discipline somehow equals worthiness. And for so many of us, especially as women, that conditioning runs really freaking deep. There's this constant pressure, both internal and external, to bounce back after pregnancy, to get it right, to do better. And underneath all of it is this quiet exhaustion that comes from trying to fight our bodies instead of learning to understand them. I know you have found yourself caught in this tug of war of thinking you should be stronger. I have too. It's a constant teeter-totter between convincing ourselves that we don't care because we honor our sacred bodies so deeply, and then suddenly questioning, what are we even talking about? If we love our bodies so much, shouldn't we want to feel good in it? I recently read that 75% of women, 75%, will experience some form of eating disorder or body image struggle at some point in their lives. This means almost every single woman you know has spent time believing that she's broken, when really it's all of our bodies just trying to communicate with us. This isn't an episode about body image. It's about how we actually feel inside, about what our food cravings actually mean. I have gone through seasons where I didn't trust my own hunger, where I tried to outsmart my cravings, where I told myself that if I just had more willpower, I'd finally feel good in my skin. But that never brought me peace. What I've learned is that participating in this never-ending pendulum of pressure really only pulls us further away from what our bodies have been trying to communicate with us for likely our whole lives. Welcome to the Follow Your Gut podcast, the show for the woman who's ready to stop outsourcing her and her family's health and start leading it. I'm your host, Juniper. Every week, I'll teach you how to understand your body and your child's symptoms through the lens of the gut so you can take clear, confident steps towards real healing. This isn't about chasing symptoms or following trendy protocols. This is about foundational healing, where we get to the root of it all, your gut. I am so happy you're here. Let's dive in. It's 9:30 at night. The house is finally quiet, and you find yourself standing in the kitchen, staring in the fridge, searching for something. You tell yourself you're not hungry, you've already eaten dinner, but the craving won't let go. Maybe it's chocolate, maybe it's bread or cheese or something salty and crunchy. And then the guilt sets in, that tug of war between willpower and the indescribable craving, between control and surrender. But what if that craving isn't a weakness? What if it's your body's intelligence? Because cravings are not just about food. They are communication. They're your body's language trying to tell you exactly what you need. And when we stop fighting our cravings and we start listening to them, we begin to understand ourselves on a whole new level. So in today's episode, we are going to decode the most common cravings so that you can finally understand what your body is really asking for, whether it's minerals, balance, or nourishment that goes deeper than the surface level food cravings. Let's start with the cravings that show up when your body is low on something essential. What I like to think of this as is the body's way of saying, hey, I'm trying to keep you steady. Can you please help me? Chocolate, for example, when you find yourself deeply needing it, like the craving is so deep. This is your body asking for magnesium. Magnesium is one of the first minerals we burn through when we are stressed, overstimulated, or getting close to our menstrual cycle. So that deep craving isn't your body trying to sabotage you. It's asking you for help. I used to feel guilty about my chocolate cravings. I love chocolate, but I used to view it as proof that I had no discipline. But now, instead of fighting my craving, I pause, ask myself what might actually be going on. Am I overstimulated? Am I undernourished? Or do I just need a minute of softness? It's okay to have a little chocolate. But once you start tuning into these patterns, you're going to notice your body has its own way of asking you for what it needs. Now, before we move into zinc, I want to pause here to talk about testing, because you can do every type of blood test, every urine test like I have, and still get results saying that you are perfectly healthy. I'm sharing this because it's so important that we keep listening to our bodies and we continue fighting for ourselves, even when the tests don't validate what we feel. We know when something is off. It might take time and curiosity to find the answers, but we can't just sit back and hope that the lab results tell us how to fix everything, because more often than not, all that lab work is not going to paint the full picture for you. A really big one that I find my body craving is pineapple and citrus fruits. For the longest time, I didn't really think much of it. I just knew that when I was stressed or tired or really run down, I could eat half a pineapple and still need more. I have focused on nourishing my microbiome for years, and I know with certainty that my gut is in balance. But since having my fourth child, I've had a few subtle things that have bothered me, like white spots on my nails, my hair feeling really slow to grow, and my menstrual cycle not being completely regular. I started learning about zinc and decided to try supplementing. And I am not exaggerating when I say the shift was immediate. My cycle became regular for the first time in my life. The white spots on my nails are completely gone, and I can start to see my hair growth. And this is such an important part of healing to talk about, because rebalancing your gut is step number one. It gives you the clarity to go deeper. It's the foundation. For so many people, rebalancing completely heals their body. But if you still have little things like this that linger, it's okay. It's not a sign that something isn't working. It's an invitation to keep listening, to keep digging deeper, and to find the next layer of what your body needs. So a few months after I started taking zinc, Ty called me. I was at the grocery store and I remember the excitement in his voice. He had just listened to a podcast about pineapple. He knows how crazy I am for pineapple, so he had to share with me everything that he learned. Back in the 1970s, pineapple crops all over the world started dying off. Farmers couldn't figure out why. Eventually, they learned that the soil had become severely zinc deficient. Once they added zinc back in, the pineapple plants came back to life, thriving again almost overnight. I remember stopping mid-cart stroll in the grocery store and replying to Ty, "Oh my gosh, of course, this makes so much sense. Pineapple is one of the few foods that we still get abundant amounts of zinc from because it's been restored to the soil. No wonder I crave pineapple so much." When our bodies are running low on zinc, which is so common, especially for women, we crave the very thing that helps bring us back into balance. Obviously, eating abundant amount of pineapple was not enough for me. I was so zinc deficient, and I have felt myself come back to life in unimaginable ways since starting to take a zinc supplement. So this was really such an aha moment for me because it reminded me how much like the earth our bodies really are. When we are depleted, we wither. When we are nourished, we come back to life, just like the pineapple plants. Zinc supports our hormones, our immune system, and even our ability to taste and smell. It's also one of the first minerals to become depleted during pregnancy, and that depletion compounds with each subsequent pregnancy. It's essential for cellular repair, for wound healing, for our nail and hair health, and for our mental health. So when you find yourself craving pineapple or other citrus fruits, or you notice maybe the little white spots on your nails or an irregular period, listen. Your body is communicating in ways most of us were never taught to even notice. If you are interested in the zinc supplement that I've been taking, I'll have it linked for you in the show notes. I'm not affiliated at all. It's just the best quality that I could find. And I would actually really love to hear from you. I'd love to know if this resonates. I've been considering expanding the shop to include a few foundational minerals like zinc, because what I've learned in my experience here, and now in spending so much time studying zinc and learning that 90% of women are severely deficient, is just how important it is. The one I take right now, again, is the highest quality that I could find, but I know we can create one that's even better. Okay, now let's move on to salt cravings. These can be so misunderstood. When you find yourself adding salt to everything or reaching for chips, even when you're not hungry, this is your adrenals asking for help. Salt helps you hold on to hydration and minerals, which are both really important all the time, but especially when your body is under stress. We are so quick to judge ourselves. These cravings aren't bad. They are a form of communication. And when you can recognize what your body is lacking, you can meet yourself with so much more grace and compassion. I notice this the most when life feels like too much, when I've been pushing through, I've been too busy, and I haven't been resting enough. It's almost like my body is saying, I can't hold all of this on my own. Salt cravings are your body's way of trying to help you slow down. But salt itself doesn't fix what your body really needs, right? So instead of reaching for a bag of potato chips, it can be really powerful to give your body what it's really asking for: rest, space, and regulation. Go for a walk, take a nap, take a few deep breaths outside, or maybe grab your journal and let it all out. Do a huge brain dump. Because when we tend to the stress underneath the craving, the body doesn't have to shout for help anymore. And I will bet you, when you come back from your pause, you won't even be craving salt anymore. If you find yourself craving ice or crunchy things, this is your body's way of saying it needs iron. You might notice it more when you are tired, when you're run down, or if your energy feels flat, even after you've eaten. When you start seeing your cravings in this way, you stop labeling them as good or bad, and you start getting curious. It shifts from judgment to awareness, from control to connection. This is the most beautiful way you can honor your body. Then there are cravings that don't actually belong to us. There's a whole different category of cravings. These are what I call gut imbalance cravings. When your gut is out of balance, so when there is an overgrowth of bad bacteria, yeast, mold, fungus, or parasites, and not enough good bacteria, these harmful microbes start sending messages up your vagus nerve to your brain. They literally scream at your brain for the foods that help them survive. This is why you might crave ice cream, cheese, bread, pasta, or really sugary foods when your body is out of balance. This is really common for children. It's not a lack of willpower. It's that the bad overgrowths feed on these foods and they need you to keep eating them. Everyone talks about how sugar cravings are an emotional thing, and sometimes they are. But when you start rebalancing, something really interesting happens. Those cravings don't just get easier to manage, they disappear. Not because you suddenly have more discipline, but because the voice of imbalance gets quiet. Even caffeine cravings can be part of this. When your gut is inflamed and your adrenals are tired, your body starts looking for stimulation anywhere it can find it. That's why coffee or energy drinks can feel like a lifeline. They give you that temporary fix, but once your gut is in balance, your energy holds steady on its own. This is why so many people say, suddenly, I don't even really want coffee anymore. And if you find yourself craving pickles, vinegar, or anything tangy or sour like this is your body's way of trying to ask you for help in digesting. Low stomach acid is incredibly common when the gut is out of balance, and those acidic foods give you a quick boost. Then there are cravings that come from your emotional body, the ones driven by your nervous system. These aren't really about nutrients or your microbes at all. They show up when your body is craving safety, comfort, or connection, but it's all connected, right? When life feels too fast, too loud, or too heavy, food becomes one of the easiest ways to find a sense of relief. An example of this is mindlessly reaching for something crunchy like chips or crackers or even gum. The crunch or continuous chewing stimulates your jaw, which helps release tension from your nervous system. It's your body trying to let go of the pressure it's holding. Or when you crave that creamy chocolate and peanut butter combination. This one is really fascinating. Chocolate gives you a hit of dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and peanut butter gives you fats that are really grounding. So when you put them together, they bring you both that really calm and comforting feeling, especially when you are emotionally or physically depleted. If you are drawn to spicy foods, this is your body's way of trying to wake you up, to move something that's stuck. To move stuck energy, to feel alive. And when you crave ice cream or cold foods, that's your body trying to soothe itself, to cool inflammation, or to quiet the emotional heat that comes with overwhelm. Fatty food cravings often mean the same thing, that your body is looking for grounding and stability. But if you crave them constantly, it can also mean that your liver and your gallbladder isn't breaking down fats properly, which ties right back into your gut health. And this is where I want to bring it full circle, because whether you are craving something because you are mineral deficient, or because your gut is out of balance, or because your nervous system is on overdrive, it's all connected. It can be really easy to think that you can just add something in, just add a supplement, just add a mineral. But it's important to pause and really understand why you are deficient in the first place. Most deficiencies don't start with a lack of minerals. They start with an imbalance. When your gut is inflamed, your liver is overworking, and your body is unable to absorb the nutrients from what you're eating. You can take all the right supplements, all the best quality supplements, and you can still be depleted. Because when your gut is out of balance, there are actually a few things happening all at once. First, the bad overgrowth. So again, this is the bad bacteria, yeast, mold, fungus, and parasites. they actually feed on your minerals. They thrive on what your body needs to function. So instead of those nutrients being absorbed and used by you, they're being consumed by what's keeping you sick. Then, as that imbalance grows, inflammation builds in the gut lining. And this inflammation acts like a barrier. It makes it almost impossible for minerals and nutrients to move from your food into your bloodstream where your cells can use them. So even if you are eating clean and you're taking the highest quality supplements, your body still can't access what you're giving it. The nutrients might be there, but your body can't receive them. And on top of that, when your body is stuck in this stress response, so it's constantly in fight or flight, it burns through minerals like magnesium and zinc way faster than you can replenish them. And here's what's really important to understand. Imbalances keep your body stuck in this state. It's a cycle. The depletion feeds the stress, and the stress deepens the depletion. So it's not just that your body is missing something, it's that the ecosystem inside your body isn't able to hold on to what you're giving it. This is why rebalancing is so powerful. It's not just about adding things in, it's about clearing out what's getting in the way. When you rebalance your gut and clear the bad overgrowths, you're creating space for your body to actually absorb and use the nutrients that you're giving it. Rebalancing also calms inflammation and helps regulate your nervous system, which means your body isn't constantly burning through minerals trying to survive. It can finally start using them to thrive. When your gut is in balance, your body begins to work with you again. Food becomes fuel instead of confusion. Your energy steadies, your mood stabilizes, and those intense cravings that used to feel so loud start to quiet down. Not because you're restricting, but because your body finally feels safe and nourished. Healing isn't about fixing your cravings or chasing every deficiency. It's about restoring balance in your body first so that it can heal. And if you need to go deeper, once you have that clarity, you can. And just as a reminder, you will never get there. That illusion of a place. Our bodies are always fluctuating. So this might just be an episode that you want to save in your back pocket to revisit when your cravings get loud again. Start with getting your body in balance and then explore deeper if you need. Before you can stock your fridge with nourishing foods, you have to clean out all the junk to make room. Your body is the same way. Now, the next time you find yourself craving something, whether it's chocolate, pineapple, or something salty, I want you to pause. Instead of asking what's wrong with me, try asking, what is my body trying to tell me? I know how tempting it can be to keep searching for the next answer, the next supplement, the next fix. But sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is slow down and listen. Healing always begins in that quiet space where you stop fighting your body and you start trusting it. Because your cravings are the language of your body asking to be heard. And when you make it a habit to listen instead of judge, to get curious instead of control, everything changes. You stop seeing your body as something that's wrong, that's working against you, and you start recognizing it as your greatest guide, always bringing you back to a place where you can thrive. Before we wrap up, I love closing out the episode with your transformations and answers to your questions. This is my favorite way to stay connected with you and to support you no matter where you are in your healing journey. If you want to submit a question, I open up a question box every month on my Instagram stories, so watch for that. Submit your questions and make sure you are subscribed to the podcast so you are sure to hear the answers. Now, let's get into it. A transformation and a question asked by so many of you in last month's question box. This week's transformation is a really powerful example of how healing unfolds when we support the body from the inside out. This mama shared, "Honestly, I know your products are working because my son's stubborn toe patches of eczema have healed. There was nothing that worked for those patches. He even came down with a cold, and usually when he gets sick, he breaks out in hives throughout the sickness. But this time, he hasn't had a single hive. I'm feeling confident that the last of his food intolerances will disappear altogether. I just can't thank you enough for your rebalance. I even started giving the supplements to my husband." What I love so much about this story is that it shows how rebalancing doesn't just make symptoms disappear. It actually restores balance to the systems that control every part of our body: the gut, our hormones, our brain, the immune and nervous system, and our skin. When a child's gut is out of balance, it's like their body is constantly in defense mode. The immune system overreacts, the skin becomes inflamed, and even a simple cold can trigger flare-ups like hives or eczema. But as the gut begins to heal, everything starts to regulate again. The immune system calms, inflammation quiets, and the body can finally focus on deep healing. This is why we see things like eczema fading, food allergies disappearing, and the skin softening, because the body isn't just being soothed from the outside, it's being restored from the inside out. And when we support the gut, we don't just heal the skin, we help the entire body find harmony again, physically and emotionally. Now for our question of the week. This question came from someone wondering if rebalancing helps the liver. This is so important to understand because so often when we think about the liver, we think about it in isolation, like it's its own separate detox organ. But the truth is, the liver and the gut work hand in hand. You can't heal one without supporting the other. When you rebalance with the Gut Rebalance Kit, you are supporting your liver in one of the most foundational ways possible. The liver's main job is to filter toxins out of the bloodstream, but when the gut is imbalanced, it creates chronic inflammation throughout the entire body. And that inflammation alone places a huge burden on the liver. It's like your liver is trying to keep up with a constant internal fire, managing stress signals, inflammatory chemicals, and oxidative damage. But it goes a lot deeper than that. When there's an overgrowth of bad bacteria, yeast, mold, fungus, or parasites, these overgrowths release toxins, and the liver has to process those too. On top of that, it's still filtering out all of the toxins that all of us are exposed to every single day through our food, water, air, and personal care products. So when the gut is out of balance, the liver isn't just overworked. It becomes stagnant. It can't keep up. And that's when symptoms start showing up. Fatigue, hormone imbalance, autoimmune conditions, breakouts, skin rashes, allergies, and even behavioral issues are all signs that your liver needs support. This is why rebalancing is so incredibly effective because it supports our entire body, including our liver health. As the gut begins to heal, inflammation calms, microbial toxins are eliminated, and the liver finally gets to exhale and start functioning optimally again. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend or a family member who's ready to lead her family's healing. Everything mentioned in this episode is linked down below for you in the show notes. Be sure to subscribe to the Nourish newsletter, also linked down below, so you never miss an episode. I will email you the latest episode every Tuesday morning. Everything shared on this show is for educational purposes only, not intended as medical advice. Until next time, trust your body and follow your gut.